You wake up one morning and realize that your life no longer looks the way it once did. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe a relationship came to an end. Maybe you looked at your bank account and saw numbers that filled you with anxiety. Or maybe nothing dramatic happened at all. Yet deep down, you know you've lost something. Your confidence, your drive, your belief that the future can be better than the present. Every day starts to feel the same. You wake up with a long list of intentions. Things you should do. Things you want to do. Things you promised yourself you would do. But by the end of the day, you feel as if you've moved nowhere. You watch other people moving forward, building careers, building families, building lives that seem meaningful and purposeful. And somehow, you feel stuck in the exact same place. That is one of the most painful feelings a person can experience. Not failure itself, but the feeling that you are slowly disappearing from your own life. Many people believe that rebuilding requires money. They believe they need better opportunities, more support, better timing, a lucky break. But the Stoics saw things differently. Marcus Aurelius led an empire through war, plague, uncertainty, and betrayal. Epictetus began life as a slave. Seneca experienced exile, political downfall, and repeated losses of status and power. They understood a truth that most people spend years avoiding. You do not rebuild your life when conditions become perfect. You rebuild it in the middle of the wreckage. Because the first thing that must be rebuilt is not your career, not your finances, not your reputation. It is the person living that life. In this video, you'll discover 10 Stoic principles that can help you rebuild yourself from nothing, one brick at a time, until you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient than the person who once fell apart. Because sometimes losing what you were is exactly what allows you to become who you were meant to be. When life falls apart, most people instinctively look for a quick escape, a new source of motivation, a new strategy, a new opportunity, a new secret that will somehow fix everything. But the Stoics never started from the outside. They started from within. That is why Stoicism has survived for more than 2,000 years and remains just as relevant today. It was never designed for comfortable times. It was built for moments of hardship, uncertainty, loss, and personal collapse. Epictetus taught that circumstances do not create the person. They reveal the person. When everything is going well, almost anyone can appear confident. Almost anyone can talk about discipline. Almost anyone can seem strong. But when money disappears, relationships break down, opportunities vanish, and plans fail, the truth comes to the surface. That is the moment many people begin blaming fate, blaming other people, blaming their past, or blaming themselves. And the more they blame, the more trapped they become. The Stoics chose a different path. They accepted reality before trying to change it. Not because they were passive, not because they were weak, but because they understood that nothing solid can be built on a foundation of denial. You must look directly at what happened, directly at your mistakes, directly at your losses, directly at the person you have become. Only then can the rebuilding truly begin. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that a blazing fire turns everything thrown into it into fuel for itself. That idea sits at the heart of this video. We are not trying to return to the person you used to be. We are not trying to rescue an identity that has already failed. Instead, we will use disappointment, pain, mistakes, setbacks, and loss as raw material for something stronger. A new version of you. A version built with greater clarity, greater discipline, greater resilience. And it all begins with a principle that most people spend their entire lives avoiding: the courage to face the truth. Principle 1. Face the brutal truth about your current life. Most people do not fail because of their circumstances. They fail because they refuse to face reality. They know they are wasting time, yet they keep telling themselves everything will somehow work out. They know they are procrastinating, yet they call it rest. They know they are moving in the wrong direction, yet they keep hoping that one day things will magically change. This is why so many people remain stuck for years. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack potential, but because they spend their lives avoiding the truth. Imagine a man lost in a forest. If he refuses to admit that he is lost, every map in the world becomes useless. Life works the same way. You cannot rebuild yourself while living inside comforting illusions. The Stoics always began with reality. Reality can be uncomfortable. Reality can damage your pride. Reality can expose mistakes you would rather ignore. But reality is also the foundation of strength. Epictetus taught that the first step of philosophy is learning to see things exactly as they are, without exaggeration, without excuses, without self-deception, without blame. Just the truth. Maybe the truth is that you wasted years of your life. Maybe the truth is that you made poor decisions. Maybe the truth is that you became dependent on other people. Maybe the truth is that many of your current problems were created by your own habits and choices. That realization hurts, but it is also liberating. Because the moment you accept responsibility, you regain power. If everything is someone else's fault, you are helpless. If your life is controlled entirely by circumstances, you are helpless. But if part of the problem comes from your own actions, then part of the solution can come from you as well. Marcus Aurelius constantly examined his own weaknesses, not because he hated himself, but because he refused to live in illusion. He understood that the person who sees his flaws clearly is far stronger than the person pretending he has none. So ask yourself a difficult question. If you had to describe your life exactly as it is today, with no excuses, no blame, and no comforting stories, what would you say? What habits are holding you back? What fears are controlling you? What truths have you been avoiding? Because that is where rebuilding begins. Not with motivation, not with hope, not with positive thinking, but with truth. A strong life cannot be built on a foundation of lies. And the moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment you finally give yourself a chance to change. Principle 2. Stop blaming fate and focus on what you can still control. Once you face the truth, you arrive at a crossroads. You can keep staring at the past, or you can start looking at what still remains in your hands. This is where many people get stuck. They spend months, sometimes years, replaying what should have happened. If only they had met the right person. If only they had more money. If only they had been born into different circumstances. If only opportunities had arrived sooner. If only life had been more fair. But life does not change simply because you keep arguing with the past. Every hour spent complaining is an hour not spent building your future. The Stoics understood this deeply. One of the most important lessons in Stoicism is learning the difference between what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control the past. You cannot control how other people behave. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control luck. You cannot control the hardships that have already happened. But you can control your response. You can control your actions today. You can control the habits you build. You can control whether you stand up again or remain where you fell. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when a person stops trying to control what does not belong to them. That sounds simple, but it changes everything, because much of human suffering comes from fighting battles that can never be won. Think of two people who lose the same job. The first spends months angry. He constantly talks about the injustice. He replays every mistake made by his employer. He becomes trapped inside resentment. The second person feels the same pain. But after a short period, he begins asking a different question. What can I do now? One person focuses on the cause. The other focuses on the next step. One remains trapped. The other moves forward. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that while he could not control external events, he always retained control over his own mind. That realization creates strength. When rebuilding yourself from nothing, you do not need to control the entire world. You only need to control the next decision, the next action, the next hour, the next day. A single disciplined action may seem small, but small actions repeated consistently create extraordinary change. That is how lives are rebuilt. Not through giant breakthroughs, not through dramatic transformations, but through ordinary decisions made within the small area that remains under your control. Focus there, and little by little, your life will begin moving forward again. Principle 3. Stop waiting for motivation and start acting through discomfort. One of the most dangerous illusions in life is the belief that you need to feel ready before you begin. People wait for motivation. They wait for confidence. They wait for the perfect opportunity. They wait for the right mood. They wait for inspiration. And while they wait, months turn into years. The Stoics would never accept this way of thinking, because they understood something that most people learn far too late. Your feelings are unreliable. Some days you feel strong. Some days you feel weak. Some days you are full of energy. Some days you want to do nothing at all. If your actions depend on your emotions, your progress will always be unstable. You will move forward when you feel good and stop when you do not. That is not discipline. That is dependence. Seneca wrote that the wise person does not wait for favorable conditions. He creates progress through action. That is the difference between people who rebuild their lives and those who remain trapped in the ruins. One acts before feeling ready. The other waits until feeling ready. And that moment rarely comes. Think back to the most meaningful achievements in your life. Chances are, you were not fully confident when you started. You were uncertain. You were nervous. You doubted yourself. But you acted anyway. Then, over time, confidence appeared. Most people get this backwards. They think confidence creates action. In reality, action creates confidence. Every difficult thing you do becomes evidence that you are capable of doing difficult things. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that he was born to do the work of a human being, not to chase comfort. He did not ask whether he felt like doing his duty. He asked what was right. That mindset matters when rebuilding yourself from nothing, because there will be days when you feel discouraged, days when you feel tired, days when progress seems invisible, days when you question whether any of this is worth it. Act anyway. Keep your word anyway. Take the next step anyway. Every time you do what needs to be done despite discomfort, you place another brick into the foundation of your future. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for confidence. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Start with what you can do today, no matter how small. A small action repeated every day is infinitely more powerful than a perfect plan that never leaves your imagination. If you're still watching, comment the number 1 below. Not for me, not for anyone else, but as a commitment to yourself that from this day forward, you will stop waiting and start moving. Principle 4. Build discipline before you build success. When life falls apart, most people become obsessed with results. They want to recover the money they lost. They want to regain their status. They want to prove themselves as quickly as possible. They want visible success. And that urgency often becomes the reason they fail again, because they are trying to build the roof before laying the foundation. The Stoics understood that before you can build success on the outside, you must build structure on the inside. That structure is discipline. Discipline is not motivation. It is not excitement. It is not inspiration. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. It is the ability to keep promises to yourself on difficult days. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. Anyone can stay focused when life is easy. Anyone can be consistent when results are arriving quickly. But discipline reveals itself when none of those things are present. When nobody is encouraging you. When nobody believes in you. When progress feels painfully slow. When effort seems invisible. That is where discipline is forged. Imagine someone trying to rebuild his life after years of drifting. He reads books, watches videos, sets goals, creates plans, learns new ideas every week. Yet every morning he sleeps a little longer. Every afternoon he delays important work. Every evening he chooses comfort over growth. His knowledge continues to grow, but his life stays exactly the same. Why? Because knowledge alone does not create change. Repeated action creates change. And repeated action is the product of discipline. Seneca warned that no wind is favorable to a person who does not know where he is going. But even when you know the destination, you still need a ship strong enough to survive the storm. Discipline is that ship. It keeps you moving when emotions fluctuate. It keeps you moving when confidence disappears. It keeps you moving when the results you want have not yet arrived. This is why the strongest people are not always the most talented. Often, they are simply the most consistent. They keep showing up. They keep learning. They keep working. They keep improving. Day after day, year after year. Marcus Aurelius did not become a great leader overnight. He shaped himself through thousands of small decisions, thousands of moments where he chose duty over comfort. You must do the same. Stop focusing on becoming successful. Focus on becoming disciplined. Because once discipline becomes part of your identity, success is no longer a matter of possibility. It becomes a matter of time. Principle 5. Stop trying to save your old identity and allow yourself to become someone new. One of the biggest reasons people fail to rebuild their lives is that they keep trying to return to a version of themselves that no longer exists. They look back at the time when they felt successful, respected, confident, in control, and they spend so much energy mourning the past that they never fully commit to building the future. This is a trap, because life does not always allow you to go back. Sometimes the only path available is forward. Many people think rebuilding means becoming who they used to be. The Stoics believed something different. They understood that growth often requires transformation, and transformation requires letting go. Imagine a forest after a wildfire. At first glance, everything appears destroyed. Yet beneath the ashes, new growth is already beginning. Some seeds only open after exposure to intense heat. Without the fire, they never grow. Human beings are often the same. Some lessons only arrive through hardship. Some strengths only appear through loss. Some forms of wisdom only emerge after failure. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that everything in nature changes. Positions change, circumstances change, identities change. Nothing remains fixed forever. So why cling to a version of yourself that belongs to the past? Perhaps the person you used to be helped you get this far, but that person may not be capable of taking you where you need to go next. The man who depended on approval must learn independence. The person who avoided discomfort must learn discipline. The fearful version of you must learn courage. Every transformation demands a sacrifice. You are not only creating something new, you are releasing something old. And often, the hardest part is not losing what you had. It is accepting that you can no longer be who you were. But once you accept that truth, a new possibility appears. You stop trying to recreate the past and finally begin building the future. Ask yourself one question. If your past no longer defined you, who would you choose to become today? The answer may be the blueprint for the next chapter of your life. Principle 6. Turn your pain into fuel instead of turning it into your identity. Anyone trying to rebuild a life carries some kind of pain. For some, it is betrayal. For others, failure, financial loss, regret, years that seem wasted. Pain is unavoidable. But what you do with that pain is a choice. And that choice often shapes your future. Two people can experience the same hardship and end up in completely different places. The first person turns pain into an identity. He constantly relives the past. He defines himself by what happened to him. Little by little, the wound becomes the center of his life. Every decision is influenced by old disappointments. Every opportunity is viewed through the lens of past failures. The second person experiences the same pain, but he uses it differently. He turns it into fuel. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes information. Every disappointment becomes a reason to grow stronger. The pain remains, but its purpose changes. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a blazing fire turns everything thrown into it into flame. That is more than a metaphor. It is a way of living. Strong people are not those who avoid suffering. They are those who transform suffering into strength. Look at the people you admire most. Very few had easy lives. Most endured loss, rejection, setbacks, or hardship. Yet they refused to let those experiences define them. Instead, they allowed their response to define them. That is one of the most powerful Stoic lessons. What happens to you is important, but who you become because of it is far more important. Maybe life has been unfair. Maybe you carry scars that will never fully disappear. But scars do not have to become a prison. They can become a source of strength, a reminder of what you survived, a reminder of why you refuse to waste the future. If you're still here, comment the word "strong" below. Let it remind you that your past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. From this day forward, stop carrying pain as an identity. Carry it as fuel, and let it push you toward the person you are capable of becoming. Principle 7. Guard your time like a poor man guards his last coin. When people decide to rebuild their lives, they often believe that money is their greatest problem. The Stoics would disagree. Money can be earned again. Status can be rebuilt. Relationships can be repaired. Time cannot. Every day that passes takes a piece of your life with it forever. Yet most people protect their money more carefully than their time. They think before spending a few dollars, but they waste entire hours without hesitation. Hours on distractions. Hours on arguments that change nothing. Hours worrying about things they cannot control. Hours repeating the same thoughts about the past. And then they wonder why their lives remain unchanged. Seneca observed that people guard their possessions closely while wasting their time carelessly. That truth is just as relevant today. Life is rarely lost all at once. It is lost little by little. One wasted hour, one wasted day, one wasted year. The Stoics understood that time is the raw material of life. Every skill, every achievement, every transformation, every meaningful accomplishment, all of them are built from time invested wisely. When rebuilding yourself, begin treating time as an investment. Every hour is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every day is a brick in the future you are building. Small efforts repeated long enough create extraordinary results, not because of luck, but because consistency compounds. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that life is temporary, not to create fear, but to create urgency. When you truly understand that time is limited, you stop treating it as if it is endless. You become more intentional, more focused, more disciplined. You stop giving your attention to things that add no value to your life. Ask yourself a simple question. If you had only 1 year left to rebuild your life, what would you stop wasting time on today? The answer reveals where your priorities should be, because none of us know how much time remains. And that uncertainty makes every day valuable. The people who rebuild themselves are not always the smartest. Often, they are simply the people who learn to protect their time better than everyone else. Principle 8. Stop seeking validation and start earning your own respect. One of the heaviest burdens people carry is the need to be approved by others. They want recognition, praise, respect, proof that they matter. They want those who doubted them to finally admit they were wrong. At first, this seems normal, but it creates a dangerous form of dependence. Because when your self-worth depends on someone else's approval, you surrender control of your peace of mind. When people praise you, you feel valuable. When they ignore you, you feel invisible. When they agree with you, you feel confident. When they criticize you, you begin doubting yourself. That is not freedom. It is dependence. Epictetus taught that growth requires a willingness to be misunderstood, a willingness to stop living for applause. This is especially difficult in a world built on comparison. Every day, people see someone richer, more successful, more admired, and they begin measuring their worth against other people's lives. But that game never ends. There will always be someone with more, someone ahead, someone receiving the recognition you wish you had. The Stoics chose a different standard. They did not ask, "What do people think about me?" They asked, "Am I living according to my values?" Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he repeatedly reminded himself not to become attached to praise or disturbed by criticism. because he understood that recognition does not build character. Approval does not create wisdom. Popularity does not create strength. Character does. When rebuilding your life, your goal is not to impress others. Your goal is to become someone you respect, someone who keeps promises, someone who acts with integrity, someone who continues moving forward when nobody is watching. That kind of confidence lasts because it is built from within, not from applause, not from attention, not from validation. The moment you stop living for other people's approval, you begin building something far more valuable: self-respect. And once you have that, the opinions of others lose much of their power over you. Principle 9. Learn to endure loneliness during the transformation. There is a truth about rebuilding your life that few people talk about. At some point, the journey will feel lonely. Not because nobody is around you, but because you are becoming someone different. Your old habits no longer fit. Your old mindset no longer fits. And sometimes, your old relationships no longer fit either. This is where many people turn back. They feel disconnected, misunderstood, caught between the person they were and the person they are trying to become. To escape that discomfort, they return to familiar patterns. They return to old environments, old habits, old identities. But growth often requires separation. The Stoics understood that becoming stronger frequently means becoming different. And becoming different often means standing alone for a while. When you raise your standards, not everyone will understand. Some people will question your choices. Some will mock your efforts. Others will feel uncomfortable simply because your growth reminds them of their own stagnation. Epictetus taught that if you want to improve, you must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to lose approval. You must be willing to disappoint expectations. That is part of the price of growth. And everyone who has transformed their life has paid it. There were moments when they felt isolated, moments when progress seemed invisible, moments when nobody noticed their effort. Yet they continued moving forward, because they understood that loneliness is often a bridge, not a destination. Marcus Aurelius spent long periods in reflection. He learned to be comfortable with his own thoughts. He understood that a person who cannot be alone with himself will always be controlled by the crowd. If you cannot tolerate solitude, you will constantly seek distraction, constantly seek approval, constantly seek noise, and eventually lose sight of who you are. So if you feel lonely right now, do not assume something is wrong. Perhaps you are simply in the middle of a transformation. Perhaps you are leaving an old identity behind. Perhaps you are becoming stronger than your current environment can understand. If this message resonates with you, comment the word "forward" below. Not because a comment changes anything, but because it reminds you that loneliness is not always a sign of failure. Sometimes it is a sign of growth. Sometimes it is proof that you are finally becoming the person you were meant to be. Principle 10. Build your life one day at a time instead of waiting for an overnight transformation. After everything we've discussed, this may be the most important principle of all. Many people do not fail because they lack effort. They fail because they expect change too quickly. They want immediate results, immediate proof, immediate transformation. And when those things do not appear, they lose faith. They assume they are not capable enough, not talented enough, not lucky enough, or that their efforts are not working. But the Stoics understood that nature does not operate that way. A tree does not grow overnight. A strong body is not built in a week. A resilient character is not formed in a month. Everything valuable requires time. The problem is that people often overestimate what can happen in a few weeks and underestimate what can happen in a few years. That is why so many quit too soon. They start, stop, start again, stop again, always searching for a faster path, never staying long enough to see results. The people who successfully rebuild themselves usually share one quality: they stay committed to the process. They are not obsessed with daily results. They focus on the work, the habits, the routine, the next step. Marcus Aurelius did not wake up each morning trying to become a legendary emperor. He focused on fulfilling the responsibilities of that day. Then he repeated the process, again and again, A remarkable life is rarely built through one dramatic moment. It is built through thousands of ordinary days used wisely. So if you are still at 0 today, do not panic. 0 is not a permanent destination. If you are still weak today, do not panic. Weakness is not a permanent identity. If you feel lost today, do not panic. Confusion is not a permanent condition. What matters is that you keep laying bricks. One brick today, another tomorrow, another next week. Eventually, those small actions create what others call a breakthrough. They call it success. They call it transformation. But you will know the truth. There was no miracle, only consistency, only discipline, only patience, only courage, and a decision to keep moving forward long after most people would have stopped. Throughout this video, we've explored 10 Stoic principles for rebuilding yourself from nothing. But the truth is that none of these principles will change your life simply because you heard them. Knowledge alone has never transformed anyone. Books do not change lives. Videos do not change lives. Motivation does not change lives. Action does. The person you become tomorrow will be shaped by the choices you make after this video ends. Not by what inspired you, not by what you agreed with, but by what you are willing to practice. Perhaps right now, your life is not where you want it to be. Perhaps you are still carrying the weight of past mistakes. Perhaps you feel behind, lost, or discouraged. That is okay. The Stoics never promised a life without hardship. They never promised a path without setbacks. What they offered was something much more valuable: the ability to remain steady when life becomes difficult, the ability to keep moving when others stop, the ability to rebuild when everything seems broken. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that every day is an opportunity to begin again, not because the past disappears, but because the present still belongs to you. And as long as the present belongs to you, the future can still be shaped. Remember that rebuilding yourself is not a single decision. It is a daily practice, a choice you make every morning, a promise you keep every evening. One action, one habit, one day at a time. Years from now, people may look at your life and call it a transformation. They may call it success. They may even call it remarkable. But you will know what really happened. You simply refused to quit. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel and join us for more lessons from Stoicism. And before you leave, comment one word: reborn. Let that word be a promise to yourself, a promise that you will stop waiting for a better life to arrive and start building it with your own hands, beginning today.